Catch up with One Nation leader, Senator Pauline Hanson. Pauline, good morning.
Good morning, Stephen.
And happy Australia Day in advance.
Well, I don't know what's going on. It just makes my blood boil. I tell you what, all this rubbish, and especially cricket and tennis, saying they're not going to acknowledge Australia Day yet, but they will acknowledge the welcome to country.
Yeah.
It's not on. It's not good enough. And they tend to forget that I was born in this country. This is my country. I was raised every day at school to sing. At that time it was to the Queen and see the flag raised. They're just destroying all that. I have no identity. They want to destroy their identity and go back over 240 years ago to what this country was, which is this population. There's only 3% of the country now. We're supposed to acknowledge that more so than our own culture, our own heritage, our own country.
Well, it's Pauline, I think the point you make is right. When and when I was at school too, we sang the national anthem and we celebrated Australia Day and Anzac Day and all these important days. It's getting worse than the fact that kids aren't doing that at school anymore. We spoke to Angie Bell, the Shadow Minister for Early Childhood Education this morning. There's preschools out there teaching preschool kids about Invasion Day.
I know. I heard about that about 2 days ago, and I'm absolutely furious. And it comes down to the politicians and bureaucrats and the people that are allowing this to happen, and that's where it stops and finishes. And unless the public start taking up, and protest about it and saying, that they're not happy with it, it stops and starts with the people.
Yeah, well,
if people want to copy rubbish, then it's your own damn fault.
But having said that, we need a bit of leadership, Pauline, because if you look at, and I'll give credit where credit's due, Chris Minns, the Premier of New South Wales, has come out and had a crack at both Tennis Australia and Cricket Australia for their stance. The Prime Minister is nowhere to be seen on this. I'll give Chris Bowen credit for this. At least he comes out with an opinion. Now it's a stupid one, but at least he says something. Nobody else in this government will take a stand on anything.
This government here, with Albanese, the most weakest, idiot I have ever seen run this country, and he's so left-leaning, it's unbelievable. And I see it in the policies that's pushed through that parliament, the legislation, and people have no idea the damage that they are doing because they don't take an interest in it, and they all think, oh, he's a nice guy. Well, he's not a nice guy. The damage that they are doing, the most incompetent government, even the ministers that are in there, absolute incompetency. And I'll tell the people out there, you actually are the cause of all this because you don't take an interest in politics. You have no idea what legislation's going through. You shut down because, you're all the same. And I'm sick and tired of that attitude. We're in a bloody mess, and I don't know if we'll ever get out of it, especially if this government gets elected again for another term.
Well, Pauline, you've echoed something that I say all the time, that in a country like Australia with our system of government, our politicians are a reflection of us, and we've got to take some responsibility for that.
Correct.
Yeah. No two ways about it.
And, and as far as Australia Day, these people have come here. They didn't come here to an Aboriginal land. They actually came to Australia, our culture, our way of life, which has been built on since it was settled in 1780. So that's what this is about. The Aboriginals have done absolutely nothing for this land. Why the hell are we going back to a culture that has not progressed this country? You live the way that you do this because of the British culture, plus also mixed with other cultures that have come here and enhanced the Australian way of life.
Well, there's a certain hypocrisy about it too, because the very same people who are carrying on with all this change the date rubbish are the same people that say they stand up for multicultural Australia and for immigrants, when the majority of immigrants who come to this country and become Australian citizens are proud of what Australia is today.
I hear it all the time. They pull me up in the streets, the migrants and everything. They said, good on you, for sticking up for your country. That's why we've come here. And they've left the countries with the bloody problems in their own country here for a better way of life. Yep. And to see this carrying on here, that's what they don't want. But anyway.
No two ways about it. Now, something that you've been campaigning on is GST on insurance. Talk us through that.
Yeah. See, all state governments are different, but in Queensland, general insurance is 99%. That's stamp duty that you pay to the state government. Then on top of that, you pay GST. So 19% of your bill is based in government taxes.
Right.
In New South Wales, it's 2.5% up to 9%. And what I'm saying is, it is not a service. They don't do anything for it. It's just an added cost to your bill. People are struggling these days. You don't need that added cost. Not only that, it goes to the federal government, collects it, and it's dispersed to the states. So I'm saying get rid of the GST. If we win in Queensland, One Nation, we're going to look at getting rid of the stamp duty on insurance costs. Not only that, the government here in Queensland can't control the youth crime. It is out of control here. People are forced to take out insurance against their car, the houses, their possessions and everything like that because the state government can't control youth crime. So why the hell are we paying for it? Insurance is going up more all the time, cost of living to people, and you give it to the governments. What do they do with it? Absolutely nothing. Waste the money day in, day out. And you know what the government state collectively? They collect nearly $1.9 billion a day in taxes in this country. And you tell me, where the hell does it go?
Yeah, it's hard to figure out sometimes, that's for sure. Pauline, good to talk to you. So what do you got? What are your plans for Australia Day?
Well, I don't know. Last year I had my staff and everyone over, friends over for a barbie on Friday. I tell you what, it's that stinking hot here. We've had extremely hot weather and they couldn't wait to get out of the place and go home to their air conditioning. So, Steve, I think I've got family up at the moment, so I just might have a quiet day and celebrate my way with family.
Good on you. Pauline, we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks.
All the best. Senator Pauline Hanson, One Nation leader, back with us next week on the program.